All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook this morning. So welcome, everyone. And to those that are going to watch the replay, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with us. I have a wonderful guest here with me today. But before I introduce her, I'm going to introduce myself just in case this is your first time ever seeing my page. My name is Claudia Garcia. I am the CEO and founder of Royalty Medical Solutions. We're a search and staffing firm. And for the last 15 plus years, I've helped private practices launch and to help them with their marketing strategies. And it's been a lot of fun. And now I do these LinkedIn Lives every week, highlighting healthcare professionals so that my network can connect with them and also have access to new resources and lots of great information. So today I'm super excited about my guest. I met her on YouTube. YouTube sent her channel on over to me, and I was like, oh, we're going to be friends. And so Flor is a 37-year-old physician assistant and proud mom of three. She's been a PA for 11 years in the field of family and internal medicine and currently working with cosmetic surgeons, leading the wellness aspect of the clinic. She started exploring social media in 2020 as a way to cope with burnout and rediscovered her love for creativity. She started an IG account to document her home building, and you're going to share all about this. So we're excited to hear about it. And grew a tight knit community that cheered her on through her ups and downs. Since being on social media, she's been able to collaborate with amazing brands and even sold her own online course to help newbies learn how to navigate building a home. That's exciting. In 2024, she decided to pivot her niche completely to sharing more about her faith and has been well received by her community and has attracted a new audience. That was me. And so in 4 weeks, she dove into the world of YouTube and has been able to grow to 4,000 subscribers and monetize her channel in 2 weeks. Wow, Flor, that's amazing.
Thank you.
You know, some people are on YouTube forever trying to monetize their channel. You know, they wait a year, 2 years, and you did it in 2 weeks. That's pretty amazing.
It is
So
crazy.
yeah, so I'm going to give you the mic. I want to hear all about your journey. So let's start from the beginning. Um, let's go way back to
Yeah.
like Flor, the PA student who had massive dreams, and then tell us about how you ended up here.
Yeah. Honestly was going to go into medicine as a physician. I had a full ride to medical school and decided to not do that after 1 year of undergrad. And I was like, you know what? I'll see where, life takes me.
Yeah.
And little did I know that I would be brought back to medicine. I actually didn't even know what a PA was when I decided to go and start like this journey. A friend told me, hey, there's a PA school here locally, you should apply. And I mean, I went in and everything just aligned perfectly. I took the few classes that I needed for my prerequisites. I applied, I got into the program. It's a very competitive program. And thank God, like I was able to get in right away. And it's just been a wild ride, but honestly everything has really, I give God glory because everything has really been his will.
Yeah.
I was able to get in. I got a full ride to PA school as well, so I didn't have any of those student loans, and
Wow.
everything just aligned. I was able to get a job right after PA school, and I remember like little naive Flor thinking like, I'm gonna have this one job for the rest of my career. This is gonna be my home. And little did I know that right before my first year would end, or like my contract would end, I was going to get let go because the clinic was just not busy enough for two providers, and it just broke my heart. It was a week before Christmas, and just the most shocking thing ever. Um, but yeah, like now I look back and I look at every job that I had as just an opportunity where I learned something, I grew, I realized what I wanted, what I didn't want.
Mhm.
That also evolved a lot after I became a mother. And I realized what I really needed and wanted out of my career. So yeah, I've been a PA now for 11 years, which seems crazy. time flies. But the story of me and social media really started in 2020. Prior to that, honestly, I had Facebook, maybe an Instagram account where I would just use super filtered photos, and like it was private. Honestly, I didn't even share anything publicly. It was just I've always, it's funny when I think about it, because I'm a pretty shy person in person. I'm pretty timid. And
Oh,
yet
wow.
here I am being very extroverted on social media, but I just feel like it's a comfort for me now. Like it's just a great way for me to show people like who I really am. Because the people that really know me know that I'm really crazy and silly, but it's hard for me to show that with other people. So
Sure.
I started that social media as far as like posting publicly in 2020. I was building a home and I was really burned out in my previous job. Um, I learned a lot through that job, and I'm grateful to have had it, but it was also just a moment in time. As everybody knows, the pandemic was just crazy, and a lot of us in family medicine got a lot of the bulk of that, just like a lot of the hospitals did. Um, and I felt this guilt. I felt like I needed to take care of everybody, and I took care of everybody except myself. So I was burning out. And I've always been a very creative person. I actually have a minor in graphic design. Have always enjoyed it. I never pursued it because I'm a perfectionist, and I would get stuck in the doing and the making, right? So thank God that I went into medicine, but I ended up just saying one day, I'm just going to share this journey of me building a home. And I still remember I had a PA student with me, and I remember when I got to 100 followers, and I was like, look, I made it. Like I have 100 followers.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I also remember the first time that I recorded myself like on stories, and the feeling of, oh my goodness, these new neighbors are probably going to be like, what is she doing recording herself? um, but it's funny because now it's such a normal thing for a lot of people to do. I mean, you see them out in the stores, people are recording. It's the way that people share now. But back then, it just felt really scary. And I just felt like this is silly, but I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one thing that I feel like is a strength of mine, that I'm very persistent. And it doesn't matter if life knocks me down a million times, I always get back up and I just continue and I don't give up. I feel like I've always had this vision for my life, and I continue to pursue it, even though I have tried and failed many things. But yeah, social media just became such a creative outlet. It allowed me to transition out of that job into where I'm at now, which has been just on its own blessing, and just amazing to work in that type of practice. But I mean, this was during a time when short form was starting, and reels all of a sudden were like the new thing that you needed to try on Instagram. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hated it.
yeah.
It was
So
hard.
I really dove into it. I was like, you know what? Like, I have a ton of video that I'm recording already, because I would normally post a ton of stories, and they were very well received. Like my stories were popping off, you know?
Yeah.
But if you looked at my grid, it was just a bunch of random photos initially. I didn't do a lot of video. And then when Reels came out, I was like, perfect, something new to try. So that's, again, it's one of these things that I just really enjoy, trying new things, right? So I did, and I remember the first like viral video that I had, and I was like, wow, like look at how many people that it reached, it's crazy.
And how many people was it?
It was like 30 some thousand.
Okay.
But I had, at that point, I was already in the maybe 10,000 or so followers. So to know that more people than what I had following me, like that they were able to see my content, I was like, wow, that's crazy, right? And so one thing that I encourage everybody to do is to just, like, you don't know when the next video is gonna pop off. Like, you just don't. And that's the thing that I learned, is like the consistency of just posting, whether that's once a week, twice a week, once a day, whatever it is. Consistency really does matter.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I mean, I started posting reels literally once a day, and I had a newborn baby at that time, trying to also be my own like home builder
Oh,
and just,
wow.
I was like my own creative director and just doing all the things, but I loved it so much. It wasn't hard for me to make the time to do it. And little by little, I mean, I just grew a really tight community of people that were cheering me on through the entire journey.
That's
So,
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. So you picked up the camera in 2020 during the time when you were building a home from scratch.
right.
And you mentioned you started to teach everyone what you were doing. So the process. So um you had to kind of teach yourself, I'm assuming, because it was the first house you built.
It was the
So,
second house I built, but it
oh,
was the
second.
first
Okay.
house that I was like as involved as I was. Like
Okay.
this was like my dream home. So I wanted it to be a certain way and like have certain things. And I just needed my builder to like understand the vision because it's what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
In my previous home, I let the builder do everything, chose a few things, and that was it. But in this home, I was like, you know what? Like let me show people like the stores that I'm going to look at tile. Let me show people like the options. One thing that I learned in community building is the way that you engage your community is just allowing them to be part of the process. And I really
That's good.
enjoy the sharing of a journey. I think that that's the most authentic way to show who you are and to build a community is through sharing a journey. Like right now, I for the past year, I've been sharing my journey in my faith because it's literally what I'm living. So the content is there. It's just about documenting your life, not documenting or not like creating content, if that makes sense. Like you're just
Sure.
documenting what's happening, right?
Sure.
Um, and I feel like a lot of people get stuck in like, well, what am I supposed to post? And it's like, just post your life, post what you're
Yeah.
doing. Like, what does your day to day look like,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was what I would do. I would just share the things that I was doing. This is the new, light fixture that I'm looking at. These are the two options. Which ones do you guys think I should do? I would come to the house. So I would drop off my kids at school, come by the house in the morning, and then drive my butt to work and still make it on time. But I would do it as a way to like not only check on the home, but I was like, I need content because like I don't like I want to see how it is right now. And then when
Yeah.
I come back after work, I want to see what progress has been made. So that
Yeah.
just became my routine.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So for me, it's because I've had my own journey. When we moved here to Texas, we also recorded what was happening, And the hardest part for me was just putting the actual videos up without, with editing and all, because
Yeah.
we're not editors. So that's where I think people get stuck, is
Yeah.
in the editing process, because I have tons of footage and it's all sitting there because it hasn't been edited.
Yeah.
And so or do you edit your own footage, or are
Yeah.
you just trying to go as raw as possible and just letting it flow?
So I believe in the rawness for stories on Instagram. I think that that's the best way to just like, just show what's happening. You don't have to edit that. It's just like record and post. For reels at that time, that was like the first time that I got into any editing really. So I was
Mm.
using the internal editor, and I tried several things, to be honest with you. I tried the internal editor and I was like, well, let me just post. And they were okay, they were fine.
Yeah.
But then I started using an app called, I think it's called InMotion, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, InShot, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And it's like a free editor. So I just started using that. And I would look at the transitions. The biggest thing that I did at that time that probably helped with my growth, because reels were new, is I would do a trending sound, and I would look for a sound that all of a sudden had like a boom, like a shift or a transition, right? Because what I would do is I would use that sound um, to basically do like a before and after. So like the beginning part of the sound was like another video that I randomly had on my phone of like the beginning, and then I would, after the boom would happen, I would switch to the second part of the transition, which would be like the progress now, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So there wasn't much editing other than like cutting a video and then putting another one right after it. So that's what I did. Like I was new too. I was like, let me just try things out. And little by little, I would, kind of dive into like, oh, let me try this or let me do that. And guys, like I did not have a lot of time. So I am right there with you. But again, the point is like, just start and post what you can. Stop with the idea that everything has to be perfect or that it has to look like other people's, because this is you're gonna be a beginner for everything. You're gonna be a beginner and you're not gonna be perfect, but if you don't start, then you're never gonna learn.
Yeah.
I just, as a little kind of side tangent, I just yesterday actually I got a message from somebody who is a contractor who again, I've tried a bunch of things, but I started doing like social media management for people. And I'm like, hey, I can edit your videos. Hey, I can do your social media. Because I was just like, I might as well try it, right? So
all while being a PA?
Yeah. So I was doing that on the side with people. And this contractor saw like that my videos were always like popping off. So he reached out to me. He was like, you want to edit some videos of the homes that I'm building? And I was like, sure. And this guy's not local to me. Like it's somebody somewhere here in Texas, but somewhere else. And I was like, sure. And I did a few videos for him. And just yesterday, I mean, I haven't talked to him in over a year and a half. And he texted me yesterday, like, hey, I'm ready to get started again. Do you still offer this? And I was like, sure. Like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. And
one more thing to do.
Yeah. And again, I'm not like an expert editor, but like people, if you just try things out, like you never know what other people are going to see, and they're going to see something in you that they don't have. And that's already value.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I always say that the confidence comes with the doing because,
Absolutely.
that's the number one excuse for everyone, right? In fact, I posted about that on Instagram this morning,
Yeah.
is that I wish I had not been concerned about my hair being perfect, my nails being done, feeling bloated that morning as a woman, all these excuses why I didn't show up on camera consistently.
Yep.
And today I'm like, I don't care. I'm now at the age though where, I do care, but I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I care. Sure. Don't get me wrong, but there's less of that
pressure. I think
there's less of the pressure. I think when you're able to let go of those things and just be yourself, your confidence grows. When you're trying to copy other people and compare yourself to other people, that's where everything falls apart, and that's where you tend to freeze because you're like, well, so and so. Well, Flor's gotten to 44,000 followers, and she got on when I got on, and I have 1,000. Whatever it is, people will compare themselves to other people.
And I've been there so many times, comparing my journey with other people that started, way after me, and they've grown to, hundreds of thousands of people. But going back to like editing and like just being yourself, like my YouTube channel is something that I felt like I was called to do, and to just do it without a filter, without editing, just do it. So that was a challenge for me because again, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I wanted everything to be perfect. And I have been stuck in the past with like not moving and not taking action because I wanted it to be perfect, and I wanted it to look like these YouTubers that have teams, people working for them. And this is just me. I'm still a mom of 3. I still work, I'm a wife. I do all the things that I really felt like, okay, the challenge is going to be for you to just post the content. Don't edit. Don't make it complicated. Just put it out there. And the biggest thing that I've learned in the past 30 days of posting has been that like I am enough, that the message is enough. Like if the message is going to resonate with people, it's going to resonate with people, and to the right people. It doesn't have to be perfect. People honestly right now, I feel like, crave more authenticity and more like off the cuff type of things rather than so scripted, so professionally edited. I think we're in a season right now where like if you're gonna if you're going to start, it's a great time to start because people are looking for and craving that authenticity, and that unedited type of look, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. This is a funny story, but I was talking to my friend and I was talking about a YouTuber. She's an older lady. She's retired and she just talks about being retired and being single.
Yeah.
And she just does head talking videos. That's it. Like there's nothing else. For some reason, YouTube sent her to me and I was like, really? I'm not retirement age. Why are you sending this to me? But they sent it to me. I clicked on her. Hey, I thought my mother-in-law would like to watch something like this. So I decided to watch it. So I subscribed to her and I'm talking to my girlfriend who's like 35. And I was like, have you ever heard of I think her name is Silver Solo or Silver, something like that. She's like, yes, I watch her. And I was like, what? Yeah. So we both watch her. And like, there is absolutely nothing. And I don't watch her like religiously because there are things, that I don't really relate to, but some things that I do. But she has grown so much. Talking head videos, talking about her retirement, what she's been through. Like nothing, there's nothing, there is no shiny objects in the background. There's no filters. She doesn't have fancy clothes on. She doesn't have, any of those things.
I just feel like it's relatable,
Yep. And yet we're watching. And the fact that my girlfriend, who's like younger than me, knew who she was and was watching her, I was like, wow. Yeah. So we got to get over ourselves. I think that if God's called us to do something, to be a light to the world, then YouTube is the perfect channel to do it on. We're live on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I focus on business. Mm-hmm. But when I saw your video, I felt so refreshing. So tell us about your content because it isn't about healthcare.
It's
not about home building. And what's called you to do this, and also what has been the response? Because you got comments from me right away. As soon as I saw your video, I was like, Jesus talking to me through this girl. I don't know who this girl is, but he just sent a messenger. and anyways, tell us about that process.
And I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. So like, I know like the Holy Spirit is definitely here because this is all honestly, like this is all God. I felt the call to do this last year and I again got stuck in what everybody gets stuck in, like the perfectionism and like I'm not good enough, what do I have to share? Even on Instagram I wasn't doing a lot of talking head videos like at all. I shied away from it. I would post like these B-roll type of videos where it was just like a B-roll of me and then like text on top, right? That was all that I was posting because again, I felt like I'm not the person with like the voice and like the right things to say, right? But as I got closer in my relationship with God and like just, growing my faith, I started to post more about my faith. And I remember the day that I took like that, or I had that story where I was like, guys, I'm not going to be sharing all the things about my house. Like it's still going to be there, like, because it's just part of who I am. Like I still love decorating my home and doing DIY and all that stuff. But I need to tell you guys about something more important. Like that was like my way of thinking, right? So I knew how much my faith had impacted me and I needed other people to know, like, if God can do this for me, God can do this for you. So on Instagram, I started sharing about my faith and I got a good response. People were definitely, well, let me just say, changing your niche and deciding to not start a new account is something that a lot of people question. Like, should I not?
I did it. And it was, I had like 5,000 followers on it was just a blogging account, business blogging. And someone said, start a new account if you're going to talk about LinkedIn. And they started a new account. I can't even get over 500 followers. Like it just, I should have just stuck to the old account. Yeah.
So what I did was actually, my account used to be under Farmhouse in the Valley. That was like my account. So not only did I change my niche, I completely changed my username. And I was like, And I made people part of that. I was like, guys, I'm looking into this transition. Like, what should I call it? Like, I'm thinking about my name, because I'm a multi-passionate person that I was like, I can't niche down necessarily, because I am so much. Like, I am a whole person that likes a lot of things, and I just
Yeah.
want to share about my life. And right
Yeah.
now,
Can we
like,
pause there? Can we
yeah,
pause there? Because
yeah,
I just want to say something about that pressure of being this one thing. I mean, we went, okay, so I've been in business for a long time. So I've been
yeah,
through all the cycles of business, right? I was in the hustle, the hustle, the hustle phase, the hustle, when I was like driving myself to the ground, hustling like I don't know. I don't even know how I survived that era, the hustle.
yeah,
And then we went to the we need, everybody is burnt out. Now we all need balance, and everyone's trying to find balance, right? And then it's like, okay, we all found balance and we all found a voice. But guess what? Your voice has to be so niche. And if you don't niche down all the way to a sub niche, the
yep,
algorithm, first of all, is not going to feed you to anybody. But you have all this pressure to do
yep,
things a certain way because I mean, these are the internet rules, right? It's not like somebody's making this stuff up. It's literally the way the algorithm works. It's the way that that the online stuff works. So I think for me, and this is why I love your transition, and don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to point this out because I think that everyone or a lot of people that I know get stuck in this transition piece, right? Where we have to pivot but also trying to just be so just one thing when you're not just one thing.
right. And I
Right?
struggled with this a lot, because I did try different accounts at some point, and then I removed it. I was like, that's too much stuff. I have to be very intentional about my time, because I'm a busy person. I'm a whole human being outside of social media, so there's always stuff going on.
No, what?
What? I
You
know,
have a
but
life outside the internet.
so yeah, I fell into that pressure of like, do I do this? Is this right? And one thing that I've learned is that the people that are going to be with you the entire journey, and somebody actually messaged me about this yesterday, are the people that like realize that you are a person and not just the home person or the business person. Like, you're a person that has a life that honestly, if you just share more about that, with boundaries, of course,
Of course.
people will relate to that, and they will be more loyal to what you have to say and what you have to offer than if you just niche down. Um, you have to be creative about how you do that,
Sure.
especially if there's a business to it, because I mean, it's still a business, right? It's how you make a living. Um, but I do believe that we have to realize, either are we trying to, like, what's the word, are we trying to be with the algorithm, like, are we just trying to satisfy the algorithm, or are we actually trying to serve people?
Yeah.
And if you're just trying to serve people, then you should just post the things that you're feeling called to post, whether
Yeah.
that's your life, your, business, your faith, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
the right people will come. I have gone into a mindset this year, and I mean, I know we're only in February, but it's literally something that I've had to change, because it's something that I was struggling with, of like not paying attention to the views and the likes and the followers and all of that, to post what I wanted to post, to post what I was being called to post, and allowing the right people to come. And you mentioned earlier about how it was received, and I kind of paused, because initially I lost about 5 or 6 thousand people. And that was, again, this was last year, when I was like, really, actually, yeah, or the year before, end of the year before, where I was like, oh my goodness, I'm losing all these people, right? Because I was so focused on the follower count and not necessarily on the message, that was like a hard pill to swallow. And now I just feel like, you know what, like, I don't care if like my account doesn't grow anymore. I have 42,000 people that could potentially see the things that I say potentially, because
Yeah.
the algorithm, but
Yeah.
they could potentially see my stuff and be encouraged by it, that it leads them, in this case, to have a relationship with God. So that's, if you think about it, that's like that's like an arena or more of people, right? Like that's crazy. And
Yeah.
we get so stuck on the numbers that we forget about the impact that we can have on people, even if it's 10 people.
Yeah.
Like
So you lost these 5,000 followers, but you
yep.
quickly gained
And then
4,000
yeah,
subscribers in like 2 weeks. Girl, I was
yep.
watching. I think I was still, I subscribed while you were under 1,000. And
Yeah.
then I was like, wait, was it? I think
Yeah,
I,
so
yeah,
it's crazy on YouTube, like that was I had a podcast that I was doing, and I would just post the videos on there, and I really wasn't doing much other than like posting the videos, but I was very inconsistent with it. I did
yeah,
8 podcast episodes only, and then when got lost in things. And so when I decided to start YouTube, I was like, I'm gonna make a challenge for myself of posting every day.
yeah.
Am I back? Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, it told me I had lost connection. So I made a challenge for myself because we often lack consistency, and I did not want to be inconsistent. So I posted that I was going to make a challenge of 30 days of YouTube. No editing, no script, no overthinking, no excuses, basically. This is what I told myself. And I think my account was at like 180 subs, and I started posting, and there was a video, the one that really like popped off. I had just gone off a phone with one of my really good friends, and we were just encouraging each other, like, we need to just do it. We need to just post the stuff. And like, it was like one of those, like, conversations where we just are, encouraging a friend, right?
Yeah.
And I hung up with her, and I put my phone on, and I was like, blah blah blah, and I just like said what I needed to say, and like so many people resonated with that. I just told my story of like where I'm at, and I think people relate to that. And
Yeah.
I've just been consistent with posting, and the messages and the comments that I get are so much like not only confirmation for me, but they encourage me also to keep going, because I realize the impact that one video, one person can have on another person. Like that's how you and I connected, through
Yeah.
a video. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know what your video can do for somebody's life. You just got to go out there and do it, and realize that your message is important, that people need to hear your voice, and just forget about all of the being perfect. You can be perfect later. You can practice and get better. You can,
Yeah.
but just start doing what you need to do. Lean into the creativity. I always tell people that my journey, I had to learn how to be creative again. I had not been creative in a long time, but that came through exploring and doing different things. And yeah, I mean, here we are. And, in
Yeah.
2 weeks, I got monetized on YouTube.
That's
And
wild. That is
yeah,
so wild.
crazy. And I'm about almost like 4,500 subs on YouTube now. So I love it now. I just like, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
All of the accomplishments are just like, the cherry on top, because honestly, the biggest gift that I got is the lessons that God has taught me through it all.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I think that there are probably a lot of people here watching that are thinking right now, God's been pressing on my heart to do this thing. And I've had a million excuses, a million reasons why I can't do it.
Yeah.
And today is the time we don't, tomorrow's not promised, right? And so if you're called to do something, even if it's business, if that's what you're called to do, if you're called to bless people through your business,
Yep.
show up and bless people, right? And I think also that when we do things that we're called to do, they're just easy. It's those things that we like force
Yep.
that wreck us, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're being wrecked by something you're trying to force right now, reevaluate it.
Yep.
And really
And be
pray.
okay with letting that go.
Yeah.
Like, let it go. I tried, so I talked about social media management. I was like, it's fun, but like I can't do that.
Yeah,
I
you
tried a
can do
web
it.
design. I was like, I can't do that either. I know how to do web design, but I was like, I cannot be in front of a computer doing this all the time.
Yeah.
I tried I was gonna do like merch, but like myself, and I was like, no, like too much work. I don't have the time right now, the resources to do it. Like, if I could tell you all of the things that I tried, but I don't consider those failures. I just
No.
consider them a way that like I learned what I do and don't want.
Yeah.
And when I tried those things, it felt forced. It felt like I was going against the grain. And
Mhm.
now that I just am doing what I'm doing, it feels effortless. I want to go out there and talk about it. I want to
Yeah.
show people. I want to talk to people. I want to encourage others, and it's just easy, like you said. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I think we can talk all day about this stuff. It's just such a pleasure watching your videos. I feel honored to watch them. I love reading the comments because people are being blessed through you showing up, right? So yeah. So thank
thank
you
you so
for
much.
showing up,
No,
for being
yeah,
obedient to your
yeah,
calling, and unashamed, because that's the big one, right? To
yep,
be unashamed in today's world, to actually walk by faith,
for sure.
and block out all the all the
All the
crazy stuff
noise.
going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And truly do what you're called to do. I mean, you're doing it, girl. And so thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Stay encouraged. I hope that whoever watched today, this message was for you and that you were blessed by it. And happy Friday. And I hope everyone
Yes.
enjoys their
Thank you so
weekend.
much for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and we will put your YouTube channel and Instagram in the comments.
Perfect.
So anyone that wants to follow Flor can do that.